And we certainly granted Musa the book and made his brother Harun a prophet. And we said, Go, both of you, to Pharaoh, for indeed he has transgressed all bounds. Surah Taha 20:30-44 excerpts. From the silent depths of time, before the final prophet graced the sands of Arabia, a chilling decree echoed across the ancient lands of Egypt. Can a single man, born into slavery, challenge the might of an empire that declared itself divine? How could a people, crushed under the heel of unimaginable tyranny, find deliverance from the clutches of an oppressor whose power seemed absolute? And what divine hand would guide them through trials that would forever etch their story into the annals of history? In an age long past, across the sprawling fertile delta of the Nile lay the mighty civilization of ancient Egypt. Its grandeur was legendary, its monuments colossal, and its pharaoh, a living god in the eyes of his subjects, wielded unquestioned authority over a vast dominion. This was a land of staggering wealth, built upon the backs of countless laborers, its prosperity flowing as abundantly as the great river that sustained it. Yet, beneath this veneer of opulence and divine rule, a dark shadow loomed, cast by the brutal hand of oppression. Within this grand yet cruel empire resided the children of Israel. They were descendants of the noble prophet Yusuf, who, centuries earlier, had been brought to Egypt and through divine wisdom had risen to a position of immense power, saving Egypt from famine. For a time, the Israelites had flourished, their numbers swelling, their blessings abundant. They were a people favored, their faith a beacon in a land steeped in polytheism. They lived by the monotheistic teachings of their forefathers, prophets Ibrahim, Ishaq, and Yaqub, peace be upon them all. Their community grew, distinct in their beliefs and their way of life, a testament to Allah's initial blessings upon them. Their craftsmanship was renowned, their families strong, their presence a quiet yet significant thread woven into the fabric of Egyptian society. However, as generations passed, the memory of Yusuf's service faded. A new pharaoh arose, one who knew not Yusuf, and a deep-seated fear and suspicion began to fester in the heart of the Egyptian ruling class. The rapid growth and distinct identity of the children of Israel were perceived as a threat to the pharaoh's absolute power and the established pagan order. This initial state of grace began to erode, slowly at first, then with terrifying speed. The blessings of prosperity and peaceful coexistence gave way to a chilling, systematic campaign of subjugation. The pharaoh, obsessed with maintaining his divine authority and quashing any perceived challenge, declared the children of Israel slaves. Their once peaceful existence morphed into a daily struggle for survival. They were forced to labor tirelessly, building the very cities and monuments that glorified their oppressors, their bodies broken, their spirits weary. The cries of their enslaved men and women echoed through the sun-baked fields and construction sites. The pharaoh's tyranny knew no bounds. His fear of their growing numbers led him to commit unspeakable atrocities, including the heinous decree that every newborn male Israelite child be slaughtered. It was a calculated, horrific attempt to dismantle their lineage and break their spirit. Amidst this terrifying backdrop, a glimmer of hope, a fragile seed of deliverance, was divinely planted. Born into the heart of this oppression, a child named Musa was destined for greatness, though his early life was marked by the very terror that gripped his people. His mother, guided by divine inspiration, placed him in a basket and set him adrift on the very river that flowed through the Pharaoh's palace, a testament to her desperate faith and Allah's intricate plan. By a miracle, he was discovered by Pharaoh's own wife, Asiya, a righteous woman whose heart Allah softened. He was raised within the very household of his oppressor, shielded by divine decree from the fate intended for his brethren. This was the silent, miraculous rise of a deliverer, a child chosen by Allah for a monumental task. Little did the Pharaoh know that the infant he unwittingly nurtured in his palace was the very instrument of his downfall, the one destined to shatter his false divinity and liberate a people enslaved. Little did the children of Israel, toiling under the whips of their taskmasters, realize that among them, raised in their oppressors' midst, was the promise of salvation, a leader being prepared by the Almighty for a confrontation unlike any other. The stage was set, the lines drawn, and the whispers of a divine plan began to stir in the heart of ancient Egypt, preparing for a monumental clash between truth and tyranny. The narrative continued now with Musa, having matured, a man of wisdom and strength, yet burdened by the suffering of his people. His accidental killing of an Egyptian and his subsequent flight to Midian were not random occurrences but part of Allah's intricate design, preparing him for the monumental task ahead. It was in the sacred valley of Tuwa, at the foot of Mount Sinai, that the call finally came directly from Allah, a moment that forever altered the course of history. Musa, witnessing a blazing fire that did not consume, approached with awe and trepidation. There, a voice, clear and majestic, addressed him. "Indeed, I am your Lord, so take off your sandals. Indeed, you are in the sacred valley of Tuwa, and I have chosen you, so listen to what is revealed." Surah Taha 20:12-13. This was the divine anointment, the moment Musa was transformed from a shepherd into a prophet, entrusted with a mission of immense gravity. Allah bestowed upon him two profound signs: his staff, which could transform into a serpent, and his hand, which would glow white without blemish. These were not mere tricks, but irrefutable proofs of divine authority, intended to confront the arrogance of Pharaoh and the skepticism of his court. Allah then commanded Musa to go to Pharaoh, for indeed he has transgressed all bounds. Surah Taha 20:24. Understanding the enormity of the task, Musa humbly requested Allah to strengthen him with his brother Harun, who was more eloquent, "And appoint for me a minister from my family, Harun, my brother. Increase through him my strength and make him share in my mission, that we may praise you much and remember you much." Surah Taha 20:29-34. Allah granted his plea, making Harun a prophet and a steadfast companion in this perilous journey. Upon their return to Egypt, Musa and Harun confronted Pharaoh, delivering Allah's message to free the children of Israel and to worship Allah alone. The core message was clear: send with us the children of Israel. Surah Al-Araf 7:105. Pharaoh, however, reacted with characteristic arrogance and disdain. He scoffed at Musa's claims of prophethood, reminding him of his past and questioning his authority. "Did we not raise you among us as a child, and you remained among us for years of your life? And you did your deed which you did, and you are of the ungrateful." Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26:18-19. Pharaoh's court, especially his sorcerers, were his immediate line of defense against any challenge to his supposed divinity. When Musa demonstrated his staff turning into a serpent, the magicians dismissed it as mere sorcery, boasting of their own superior skills. Indeed, this is but magic which he has contrived in the city to expel therefrom its people. So, what do you order? Surah Al-Araf 7109-1010. They challenged Musa to a public contest, confident in their ability to mimic his tricks. The day of the contest arrived, a spectacle for all of Egypt. The magicians cast their ropes and staffs, and they appeared to wriggle like serpents, deceiving the eyes of the people. But when Musa cast his staff, it swallowed all that they had conjured. And the magicians fell down in prostration. They said, "We believe in the Lord of the worlds, the Lord of Musa and Harun." Surah Al-Araf 7:120-122. This was a profound moment, a clear sign witnessed by all. Yet Pharaoh's defiance only intensified. His ego bruised, his authority challenged. He accused the magicians of conspiring with Musa and threatened them with severe punishment. He said, "You believed in him before I gave you permission. Indeed, he is your chief who taught you magic. So I will surely cut off your hands and your feet on opposite sides, and I will surely crucify you on the trunks of palm trees, and you will surely know which of us is more severe in punishment and more enduring." 3. Surah Taha 2071. Despite this undeniable miracle, Pharaoh and his elite continued in their stubborn disbelief and oppression. Allah, in his boundless wisdom and justice, began to send a series of escalating signs, each a clear warning, yet each met with increasing arrogance and denial. First came the plague of droughts and famine, followed by the Nile turning to blood, making the very source of their life undrinkable. Then came swarms of frogs, followed by lice, then locusts, and finally, the plague of darkness that enveloped Egypt for days. Each time, Pharaoh and his people were afflicted, and each time they would promise Musa to release the children of Israel if the affliction was lifted. And when the punishment fell upon them, they said, "O Musa, invoke for us your Lord by what he has promised you. If you remove the punishment from us, we will surely believe you, and we will for surely send with you the children of Israel." Surah Al-A'raf 7:134. But as soon as the affliction was removed, they would break their promises, their hearts hardening further. This cycle of promise and betrayal demonstrated their deep-seated arrogance and their contempt for the truth. Their defiance stemmed not from ignorance, but from a deliberate rejection of Allah's clear signs, driven by their pride in their power and their refusal to relinquish their grip on the enslaved Israelites. Scholars like Imam al-Tabari explain that this repeated defiance was a testament to Pharaoh's kufr, disbelief, and his extreme taghut, tyranny, where he saw himself as a god above all. The tension escalated dramatically. Musa, with divine patience, continued to deliver Allah's warnings, his voice a beacon of truth against the crescendo of Pharaoh's tyranny. The children of Israel, witnessing these signs, wavered between hope and despair, their faith tested by the relentless persecution. The air in Egypt grew heavy with the unspoken promise of a final, decisive judgment. The stage was set not for a mere confrontation, but for a cataclysmic clash between the divine will and human arrogance, leading inevitably to an outcome that would shake the very foundations of the land of the Nile. The final rejection had been made. Pharaoh and his people despite witnessing 9 distinct and undeniable signs, had persisted in their arrogance, their mockery, and their relentless oppression of the children of Israel. The cycle of promises made and broken had reached its bitter end. There was no longer any doubt. Their hearts were sealed, their fate determined. The final warning was delivered not with a plague, but with a decree of Exodus. Allah commanded Musa to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt under the cover of night. And we inspired to Musa, "Travel by night with my servants. Indeed, you will be pursued." Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26:52. This was the definitive act, the final turning point that sealed Pharaoh's doom. His refusal to let them go, even after countless afflictions, meant he would pursue them, thus bringing about his own destruction. The children of Israel, after centuries of bondage, departed in haste, carrying what little they possessed, their hearts a tumultuous mix of fear and hope. Pharaoh, upon discovering their escape, exploded in a fit of rage. His false divinity, his absolute power, had been challenged and defied. He immediately mobilized his vast army, his chariots thundering across the desert, a relentless pursuit of those he considered his property. The sight of the massive Egyptian army, an unstoppable force bearing down upon them, brought immense fear to the children of Israel. Ahead of them lay the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Red Sea. They were trapped, their escape seemingly impossible. And when the two companies saw one another, the companions of Musa said, "Indeed, we are to be overtaken." Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26:61. But Musa, guided by unwavering faith, remained steadfast. "No, indeed with me is my Lord, he will guide me." Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26:62. And then came the ultimate miracle, the specific form of divine judgment that would forever be etched in history. Allah commanded Musa, "Strike with your staff the sea." Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26:63. With a thunderous crack, Musa struck the vast body of water. Immediately, the mighty sea parted, not in a gentle ebb, but in 2 towering solid walls of water, revealing a dry path through its very heart. It was a spectacular, terrifying, and awe-inspiring display of Allah's omnipotence. The children of Israel, witnessing this breathtaking miracle, surged forward, traversing the dry path with haste. Pharaoh and his army, blinded by their arrogance and rage, saw the parted sea not as a sign of divine power, but as a temporary anomaly, an opportunity to reclaim their slaves. They plunged into the miraculous path, their chariots and horsemen descending into the watery corridor, utterly convinced of their impending victory. And so the curtains fell on Pharaoh's reign of tyranny. As the last of the children of Israel reached the opposite shore, Allah commanded the sea to return to its natural state. With a terrifying roar, the towering walls of water crashed down upon Pharaoh and his entire army. The waves consumed them, drowning every last man, from the mightiest general to the lowliest soldier. So we drowned him and those with him all together. Surah Az-Zukhruf 43:55. The very waters that had sustained Egypt now became the instrument of its tyrannical ruler's destruction. Pharaoh's body, after being tossed by the waves, was cast ashore, a gruesome spectacle preserved as a chilling lesson for all generations to come. So today we will save you in body, that you may be to those who succeed you a sign. And indeed, many among the people of our signs are heedless. 5. Surah Yunus 10:92. This preservation was not an act of mercy, but a stark, visible warning against arrogance and denial of divine truth. They perished because of their fundamental disbelief, kufr, their blatant oppression, tulm, and their hubris, kibra, in declaring themselves gods and rejecting the clear signs of Allah. The final turning point was their deliberate pursuit of the children of Israel, even after the miraculous parting of the sea. Their persistence in oppression, even when faced with unequivocal divine intervention, sealed their fate. Imam Ibn Kathir, in his tafsir, highlights that Pharaoh's declaration of "I am your most exalted Lord," Surah An-Nasiyat 79:24, was the epitome of his defiance. And it was this same defiance that led to his utter annihilation. Centuries passed, but the lesson remained eternally relevant. The story of Musa and Pharaoh stands as a monumental testament to Allah's justice and power. It showcases that no matter how mighty, how technologically advanced, or how arrogant a ruler or a nation may be, they cannot defy the will of the Almighty. The obedient are saved by His grace, while the rebellious are brought to a swift and devastating end. The drowning of Pharaoh's army serves as a perpetual reminder that worldly power is fleeting, and true sovereignty belongs only to Allah. This narrative offers a profound sense of closure to the main arc of divine judgment, emphasizing that justice will always prevail, and that ultimately Allah's plan will unfold, regardless of human defiance